Well, let me just start by saying that I was not at all surprised by Trump's the crowning of Trump as king of the world. Basically, I realized that the work that I do is I come from a consciousness perspective. So I had this worldview of seeing things from a very expansive lens, and I look at everything that's playing out in the world, and I don't look at the minutia of the details. What I look at is the consciousness that's attached to everything that's playing out. And what I'm seeing is this massive degradation in consciousness, certainly in my own lifetime. Now, I was born in 1963. At that time, there were 3.2 billion people on the planet, and already there were problems. I mean, I knew. I grew up knowing. I was one of those really tuned-in kids who could feel what was going on, but also who could see what was going on. And since that time, population has exploded to 7.5 million, and nothing has changed. Consciousness hasn't changed, and so now we see more consumption, we see more degradation, we see more selfishness, more entitlement, more of everything that's really ugly about the human. Well, I'm not going to say the human condition. It's about the conditioned human. I look at everything from a systems perspective too, and how all of the systems that we live in have conditioned us to be everything that we're not, from a spiritual perspective. So when I look at everything from that perspective, and I see this degradation of consciousness that has really been quite persistent in my lifetime, I see that there's really only way that this can all go. And Trump is kind of like the last nail in the coffin. He's necessary for this story that's been playing out for far too long, which I call the story of separation. He's necessary for it to finally end. So my belief is that, and this is all based on just intuitive knowing. My belief is that this global swing to the far right, this white male supremacy, this patriarchal overload, is kind of like a necessary climax to a really ugly story that has hurt us as a species, hurt so many other species, and has destroyed the planet. And how can we, I look at the New Ages, and there's a lot of New Agers out there who seem to think that there's this massive conscious awakening. Well, there is a massive conscious awakening, but I feel like it's an awakening to the dark side of what we have allowed ourselves to become. And I feel like this is kind of like, again, like a necessary and key part to end this story once and for all. And who knows what's going to play out now, with Trump in there. I mean, really, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. If Hillary got in, it would have been more of the same old, more of the status quo. And the inevitable, which is biosphere collapse, would have just been prolonged. But now you get somebody in there who is just like such a raging asshole. He's going to expedite the inevitable. So for those of us who cannot stand the way this earth is just being pillaged, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe we'll just see a quicker end. I don't know. So I have a lot of thoughts about what's playing out, but basically I see that this is necessary for the completion of this ugly, ugly story that we have created as a species. And I think that we all better prepare ourselves for, I don't know. Well, I don't even know. It's so uncertain what's going to be playing out. But I think it's going to be unpleasant. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be violent. It's going to be divisive. And, if we're not already seeing the ugly part of humanity, we're going to see a whole lot more. And my take on it is that I feel that it's incumbent upon me from a soul perspective to live with even more compassion, even more love, even more passion for this earth than ever before, because I can't not do that. I love this earth, and that's not going to change whether he's in or whether he's not. But it's just kind of, it's my love has been activated on an even bigger level. So that's my 2 cents.